Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast, episode 119. I'm here with very special guest, DeShone Kizer. Is it founder and CEO? Is that your title?
That is the new title.
That's the title.
We'll take that.
You like that? Founder and CEO, oneofnone.io. Awesome website. Also a former NFL quarterback. Maybe one day again. I don't know if that's completely out of the question. And Notre Dame quarterback, and has been around for a while. I'm excited to chop it up with you. This has actually been a long time in the making, us getting this episode.
Definitely. I mean, back when we were first having the initial discussions, it definitely wasn't episode 119. I'll tell you that. No,
it wasn't. That was really early on.
Oh, yeah.
One of your partners or one of the people you work with, Kai Forbath, contacted me. We had a great conversation. We met up at the first NFT NYC. That was over a year ago, November of 2021, at the Knights of DeGen party.
Had a blast.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was a really good party. That was a good time.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to have a great time when you're around, Drew Austin and that crew.
No doubt. So it's good to have you on finally. So
yeah, happy to be on. And quite frankly, I'm glad that we got to this point. Obviously, there's a lot of ups and downs, and with this current crypto winter, I think we're seeing things as clear as we've ever seen it. So excited to finally get on and share our story.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, it's really good timing. I think it's really good timing to get you guys on to talk about One of None. First off, though, how about my Eagles?
Oh my God!
In the Super Bowl,
I grew up an Eagles fan.
You grew up an Eagles fan? I was going to ask you because I did my little research. You're from Toledo, which was really close to Cleveland where you got drafted. So I was wondering if you grew up a Browns fan. You grew up an Eagles fan?
I grew up an Eagles fan. So Toledo is only 45 minutes south of Detroit. So a lot of people in my area are actually Lions fans.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously down the road from Cleveland as well. But my dad was a Randall Cunningham fan growing up.
Oh, that's incredible.
Naturally having
me too, man.
Yeah, having an athletic quarterback of a son, he thought that the birds would be a good way to go.
Wow, so we're in the Super Bowl.
Here we go.
Incredible. It's been amazing run. I actually went to the last Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis.
No way. How was that?
One of the best weekends of my life. I went to the Maxim party, and I was a ticket broker at the time. I had these awesome club seats. Steph Curry sat right behind me. Right after the game, I got a selfie with Steph Curry. It was incredible. And,
that's awesome.
And, that game was just epic. So
that was a hell of a game.
That's man.
Awesome.
So that's that you stepped up a couple notches in my book. Now that I know you're an Eagles fan, I love that.
Yeah, I actually got a little story with that. We played against Temple my last year at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first season playing at Notre Dame. Played against Temple. That was a year that Temple was a damn good team. I think it was college game day. I think they were ranked like number 11 in the country at the time.
Our boy Hassan Reddick was on that squad.
Yeah, he was. Yep. And Medikovic, it was a great defense.
Yeah.
I ended up got to play at the Eagles Stadium there, and every time I went into the end zone, I hit the Fly Eagles Fly. Well, little did I know that looks a lot like a Temple Owl. So,
you were like mocking them. They thought, right.
Exactly. But that was an awesome game. I ended up breaking off for like a 70-yard touchdown. It's one of my favorite highlights I've ever had. Yeah.
Oh wow, I got to look that up. It's probably on YouTube, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's amazing. That's quite the story.
Oh yeah,
I love that. I love that. So let's talk about NFTs a little bit. How did you when did you get into NFTs? I guess pretty early on, sometime in 2021. What was your entry? Who told you about it?
Yeah, so we, for me, I was building One of None before I even got into blockchain, before I got even into NFTs. But early 2021, so I was right there with the NBA Top Shot crew. When the big buzz started happening, the big NFT spring there. But at the time, we were looking to build something that could help, physical creators of products access the lifetime value of these ultra limited edition pieces. And, the first article I ever read about NFTs was all about creator royalties. So it was like this perfect parallel of like, all right, here's this buzzword of blockchain that every VC, every, angel investor out there wants to hear about. And for us, it just became a really easy marriage for us to start to explore the digital world and see if there's a way for us to kind of tie that back into the physical limited edition space.
Wow, that's really interesting. So you started building One of None. Was it always NFT based? So you started building that. It wasn't NFT based. It was just bridging physical and digital.
So yeah, so it was more about tracking the lifetime of physical products.
Okay.
So the story goes, when I was in the NFL, I signed with Brand Jordan, so I became instantly this sneaker collector by nature. They start sending you every pair of sneakers that comes out during that time. But what I realized with the brand is that all the value that we were creating on these limited edition drops, when I was there, we had the Dior collaboration, we had the Travis Scott collaboration, but all that value that we were creating on the sneaker was in a market that we as a brand had no connection to, that being the secondary market.
Sure.
Instead, you have the StockX's and the GOATs and the eBays of the world that are growing to these mega businesses off the heels of these brands, creations. So, the initial business that we set out to build was just a business in which we could build a marketplace that the primary market or the primary sale would take place on at retail, but also facilitate the secondary exchange. So it was all Web 2. It was all about, creating a social marketplace for limited editions, is what we're calling it at the time. But then after, the big boom of NBA Top Shot and all the attention coming over to blockchain, quickly realized that, hey, what we thought might be something we would add in 3-4 years down the road is something that we need to explore right now. And quickly realized that it was the perfect technology for us to kind of help these creators of dope limited edition products start to access that lifetime value.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that. I love that pivot. I love how you saw an opportunity and went for it. That's really cool. So I didn't realize that was building in Web 2 first, and then you're like, oh crap, let's tokenize some of this stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. But what I didn't know is that, this world of NFTs at the time had a completely different set of standards, had a completely different, type of brand, and quickly found myself immersed as a degent. I had to get out there and really learn, how people were collecting these, and I had to go get my first ever Discord out at the time. Clubhouses where all the the action was taking place. I was one of those early influencer types that was on Clubhouse, just learning, sitting in all the NFT chats or NFT rooms. But fell in love. Web3 as a whole kind of touched everything that I was into. I loved collecting sneakers, I collect classic cars, watches. I'm always about trying to find that grailed, one of none style products. This was like the perfect community for me to have some fun. When we were in, at the time, my first off season building this.
That's amazing. I was on those early Clubhouses too, even hosting rooms into the summer. We have Logic Gilliam,
of course.
Yeah, we're having him on next week. He's a buddy of mine from the Clubhouse days. So,
I love that.
He's awesome.
It's like a nostalgic. It feels like it's been forever since we're hopping in.
It has been. Awesome. I know, and Twitter crushed them. Do you know Twitter offered Clubhouse $4 billion back in like May of 2021?
No way.
And Clubhouse turned it down. Twitter's like, guess we'll just make our own.
What? So, is there any action on Clubhouse? What is Clubhouse today?
I try and look on there, like every now and then a few of my artist friends will be having a room and chatting, but it's like, it's really small. It's for NFTs, at least there's almost nothing. Not like that was the main Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I mean, everybody went, Farouk was one of the main hosts, and he's obviously on Rug Radio on Twitter Space. And
you would just think they raised so much money during that boom, and they had everyone download. It's still downloaded on my phone.
I look at it every now and then. It's one of the apps I have. Yeah, for sure.
I can't believe that they haven't been able to find a way to like get us back over there for something.
I know. Yeah, I guess their marketing's pretty poor in that case. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
It's definitely. Yeah, that's I mean, even Gary Vee was on there doing hopping in rooms and stuff. Like it was popping, and Twitter just completely demolished it.
Gosh.
Yeah, crazy. That's pretty wild. I didn't know you
Yeah.
were on there either. I'm learning a lot now.
Oh yeah. That's really how I got thrown into this space. My first
Okay.
ever, I did a clubhouse. I was in a room with Blake Jameson
Yep.
and Jasmine Marietta from Round 21. They were doing like a Art Time Sports clubhouse room, and popped in there, and that was like my first time ever
That's
trying
cool.
to regurgitate all the stuff that I was studying and learning, through
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah.
And then, from there, that was really like the spark of my little, NFT network, that
I
turned
love
into a
that.
bunch of relationships that got us into the red beard world and the Crystal
Yep.
Damo world. And from there, it's pretty quick for us to, it's kind of a small world once you get in there. It's
Sure.
for us to kind of all
Yeah.
connect.
What were some of the early NFTs you were buying, liking, checking out?
So the Knights of DeShone, that was my first ever NFT
Okay.
that I got.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I was kind of late to the game. NBA Top Shot, I was with it, but I was also, once again, as I was exploring NFTs, it was more exploring it as a solution to a problem that I was already looking to solve. So I was like
Yep.
only going to go on Ethereum because I knew that I could only find developers that are on Ethereum, that were on Ethereum. So NBA Top
Yep.
Shot really
I hear
wasn't
that.
it for me.
Right. That's a
But
retail product. You weren't looking for a retail product.
not at all.
Yeah,
Not at
yeah,
all.
for sure. I hear that.
Yeah. So I started with the Knights, and then probably my next 6 or 7 NFTs after the Knights were just all rugs, because then I found myself like, I was listening to everyone else and like, I need to find my own lane. Let me go see if I can find some diamonds in the rough and bring them back to the team. And every last one of those pulls were just terrible. They're still sitting in my wallet today. I should go pull them up and go check those out.
Yeah. Oh God.
But
I
yeah.
got a whole bunch of. I could list them off too. I got them also. We all do.
Oh yeah. I found myself in the party apes. It was always like something that was attached to something else, and I just they got me every time.
Yeah, there's a million. I mean, the lazy antelopes and the this and it was just everything. Like it kept coming and coming.
Exactly.
Pretty wild times. That's cool. That's cool to hear your story. So then, where are you guys with One of None? Like, explain really what's going on. Like, I've looked at a bunch of the drops right now. I see you guys are pre-selling headphones, which is kind of neat. That's something new. The who was the artist I saw? Art Mob. His Kobe piece is amazing. That's on there. And we're friends with Amber Vittoria. We had her on the podcast as well. She's amazing. So I saw you guys work with her.
Amazing.
So explain what's going on and like because I know you can vault it and you can have the piece. There's all kinds of cool stuff. So let's hear it.
Yep. So I'll go ahead and give it.
I know I gave you a lot there. I went over all the drops. So I gave you a lot.
I'll dive in. So as I kind of mentioned before, wanted to try to solve this problem of helping physical limited edition creators start to access the lifetime value of their limited edition products. So through resale royalties is obviously, the monetization is an easy entry point when you're talking to big brands, but more importantly, staying connected to their resale collectors was kind of our biggest goal there. So we built this infrastructure, that takes every limited edition piece that we launch physically and marries it in a one-to-one relationship to an NFT. Which today, we're kind of in this digital revolution right now, isn't too crazy of a concept, but 2 years ago it was something that seemed like it was way out there for us. But for us, it was all about trying to maintain that connection. What we saw at the time of building this was that there were some people who were playing in the space, but a lot of what they were doing was either the burn protocol, we're going to leave the physical in a vault somewhere or warehouse somewhere. It's going to trade X amount of times, and then someone presses redeem. We burn the NFT, and boom, there goes a relationship. Or the other one was just hey, we're going to give you both at the same time. Here's my NFT, and you get a print. Or here's my NFT, and you get this dope hoodie. But in most of those situations, the decoupling ends up happening of the assets, where someone holds on to the physical piece of art, they put it on their wall, and they go sell the NFT the next day. And here, we're no longer keeping that true one-to-one relationship. But with us, we had this physical lens. This was more about bridging physical collectors into the space. So what we wanted to do was find a way to keep that marriage together. So what we developed was an infrastructure that uses a vault as a way to keep the marriage. So essentially, the way our protocol works is that when you first buy our NFT or buy our hybrid, we call them hybrid products. We'd like to think that we're kind of a step above the digital world because we keep that one-to-one relationship. If you buy a hybrid product with us, you first get the NFT that goes to your wallet. The physical remains in the vault, and you get the opportunity to either redeem the physical asset. If it's a piece of art put on a wall, luxury good, wear it. or you can vault it, leave it with us. We take care of storage, insurance, and keep the physical good in good condition. And while it's with us, you now have this NFT that represents the right to redeem it. So that if anyone comes to the secondary market and places a bid, you now can pass on the ownership of the physical good using that NFT that represents it. But what's a little different with our model is that when the physical good is redeemed out of the vault, we lock the NFT to your wallet so that you can't exchange the ownership of the NFT while you have the physical in hand. If you would like to exchange it, you send the physical back into us. We authenticate it, grade it, put it back into storage, and then update the metadata with a new condition report to now say that, hey, this product now is at, good condition rather than mint condition. And then that same NFT that minted alongside it can continue to track its life both in and out of the vault.
Wow. There's a lot of use cases there. As I hear you talk about that, so I see that you're doing the headphones, but you could do anything really in that case. You could do like an old magazine that's like, in a case, like, wow, that's really cool. There's a lot of interesting stuff. So where do you want to take it? Like, I know you're doing art right now, which is a lot of what the NFT space is, but you could really do any kind of collectibles, or if people want to put something out. I know originally we talked about like people can release like t-shirts, you know what I mean? If they want limited edition t-shirts with a design on it. That's really neat. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we really see that, one of none as a business is an infrastructure. We're an authentication platform is what we like to position ourselves as. And like you said, that can go across any type of product that's one of none. But what we mean by one of none is that it's a limited edition that has some sort of a story or some sort of a cultural moment that's tied to it that gives it its value in the secondary market. And that can be done with anything. So what we built first to kind of test that infrastructure was a marketplace. So that's what you're looking at right now, oneofnone.io. But the only point of rolling out that marketplace and building this brand that we've been building and kind of connecting who we've been connecting with is really just to test the tech. We use for, on the authentication side, we use RFID technology. We put a chip in every product that we launch so that we can authenticate it in the secondary market. We played with NFC tags so that you can, have this tappable experience to be able to get that information. But we wanted to test all of that functionality across different product types. So that's why you see fashion where we're taking a tag and sewing it into the garment. That's why you see collectibles like the headphones is replacing a capsule RFID inside the headphone. You see a lot of art there where we're taking, RFIDs and placing them in the back of canvases. But that's really just a spot for us to really, test our technology. What we're most excited about now, moving into 2023, is we kind of fast forwarded, a lot of our roadmap to really turn this into more of an as a service business, where we're launching this concept that we're calling portals. And what portals are a branded experience that a brand can bring to their own website, where they can put in the logo, they can put in all their fonts, their colors, and create a space on their website that can allow them to launch these limited edition pieces alongside NFTs on their own, where we're just the infrastructure behind it.
Wow. So we could do like NFT catcher t-shirts.
Got it. Got it.
And have the tag in it. Do you guys produce the shirts, or do we produce? How's that work?
So we have partners. We have partners across soft goods
to help out.
We can help out, but for the most part, this is the problem we're looking to solve long term is a true resale problem. There's so many counterfeits that are out there now. Collectability, the concept of dropping something that's limited edition is something that's everyone does. I don't care if you're a new T-shirt company, you just started. Of course, you're going to throw out your limited edition, your limited edition snob. But the more limited editions that come into the market, the more counterfeits that come in as well. Yeah. So our idea is that if you use our technology to launch your grailed items, your top items, your limited edition items, that those are the ones that should come with chips so that we can truly track that provenance from the first day that it was launched into, the secondary market.
I wonder why Nike doesn't do chips in like their shoes, because there's so many counterfeits of that. Like I see when people, there's like the smell test, guys, like, you know what I mean? So like, I wonder why they have never done that.
I'll give you the branded answers because they haven't met us yet. We're going to get there. Let us get there.
Fair. Get to Nike. Yeah. Phil Knight listens to this podcast actually. So
call me. I'm in. I got the solution for you. Uncle MJ, hit me up. I got the solution for you.
Exactly.
But today I think that there's a couple reasons why people haven't played in the resale market. And I can bore you. I'm in the middle of a fundraiser right now, so I can hit you with all the stats.
It's all good, man. Yeah, no, I got all the time. So if you want to, it's really interesting. I'm learning a lot. It's really interesting.
Well, the overall resale market as a whole is on fire. It's growing they're projecting $218 billion market by 2026. Within the overall retail or resale market across all products, you're looking at it's growing at about 16 times the primary market. That means that right now, the ThreadUps, the eBays, the StockX's, the GOATs are growing at 16 times the curated department stores and things like that. In the luxury goods space in particular, you're growing at 4 times the primary market, which is really new for the luxury goods space. It's all about that crazy luxury in-person experience. Get your glass of champagne, sit down on a couch that costs more than my house so that you can go and buy your bag. And that so that they've really, captured this moment at the retail that they don't really want to let go of. Well, when it comes to the resale, the reason they want to play, it's clear as day that these luxury goods, players or brands really want to get into resale. But currently, there's just so many counterfeits that are coming through those resale channels. It's hard for them to come and support a StockX or a Real or one of an eBay when every so often there's going to be a product that comes through that's fake. So instead, what you're seeing is Chanel that sued the Real. You're seeing LVMH that has sued eBay multiple times. You're seeing Nike with a couple lawsuits open as we speak with StockX because they can't really create that healthy relationship. But the reason for that is because the lack of attention to building a product that needs to be authenticated in the secondary market. So they insert these chips as a way to do so. But if you're thinking from a brand perspective, if you're going to participate in a secondary market and you're a luxury goods brand, well, numbers can continue to show it, and I can get into those, but the numbers will show that the reason why the resale market is growing the way it's growing is because, Gen Z and millennials are completely okay with buying a product that's lightly used, lightly loved is what we like to say, at a lower price point. If I'm going to go buy, a Rolex right now, and I can go buy it for $8,000 in the secondary market versus a $10,000 new market edition or a new edition, if those products are taken care of so well, like why wouldn't I just go get that little bit of a discount? Well, for luxury goods and bigger brands, they don't want to erode their margins. They don't want to be the company that, how am I going to go out there and say that a Jordan is worth $175 on Tuesday, but come to my secondary market right now and buy a similar pair for $90? Like you're playing in your own market, so it's really tough to do so. So with our position, what we think is by focusing on those grailed items, those items that truly do hold their value in the secondary market. That's kind of the first thoughtful way for brands to really participate. And I think we can see that right now with someone like a Gucci. Gucci has the Gucci Vault, where they go and they have a couple dope collaborations. They do some tech-enabled things. They do some metaverse stuff. They partnered with Super Rare. They've done some things with Spatial. But more importantly, they have these rare vintage finds that they bring back through the Gucci Vault. The 1960 purse, the 1975 pair of earrings. Those are the items that you can participate like thoughtfully and on brand. So what we're saying is, before those products get to market, when you're putting your all into something, when you got Travis Scott sitting here designing the best sneaker that we've seen in a long time, those are the ones that you need to chip. They need to build community around. They need to track. They need to reward those collectors because those are your top people who got their hands on those. Yep. That's where One of None wants to kind of live as a business.
I love that. That's really thoughtful, and I'm learning a lot from you. Like I said, that's really neat. I see. So especially with those major brands and having like even cars, like those super high end cars are going to be worth money. That are collectible and rare.
100%,
absolutely,
100%. You have the collector's items, right? And I'm a classic car guy. My dad, I grew up with my dad having a classic car in the garage that can never run. So I was always, once I got to the league, that was my thing. Is I'm going to have a couple of those and make sure that they're all And but when you talk about new cars, let's think of like. The Tesla truck. Could you imagine if those pre-orders were NFTs?
Yeah, they should be. They should already have given the people the NFT. And if the people want to sell that NFT to someone else, they have the right to buy the truck when it comes out.
I don't know what's holding them up right now, but I'm sure money, time, resources, that's what's always holding them up. But I guarantee if they had a secondary revenue stream of any kind, I don't care if you call it, 1% curator take.
That'd be going wild right now. If they
going wild. And the beauty of NFTs is that price doesn't really matter as long as the thing is trading. Elon has a great day, let the price ride up. Elon has a bad day, let it ride down. But at every stage of the game, you have two people winning. You have the creator winning with the small royalty, but then you also have the collector winning because they get ownership of something that doesn't even exist yet. And I think that's kind of the world we're heading into from at least a luxury goods standpoint.
Yeah. Well, that's what you did. I mean, just technically with these headphones that I see, you're pre-ordering them now and you'll get the NFT.
Exactly.
And then when it's ready, you can claim them, I guess.
You got it. You got it. So that's with San. And San is a company that was started by DJ Kaku, who was one of the early partners of OmniForce. So they have they kind of have that mecha style vibe to it. And he's an unbelievable DJ from Taiwan. They have a bunch of tech enabling that they're doing with NFC tags and platforming this really cool kind of support up and coming independent artist platform around that. Awesome project, awesome people. They have a huge roadmap. The headphones were designed by the same designer and engineer that did the Beats by Dre, so they're high quality. But yeah, that's a prime example of a product in which you now get to continue to build community as you're building the product.
100%. That's really cool. And how many of these are? There's a limited amount, right?
Yeah, we did 100 in this first run of those. There's going to be 10,000 over time. They did an NFT project, a soulbound based NFT project. So they're really one of the few soulbound projects that are out there. And this is kind of their first product to market. They had a bunch of big things in a roadmap, a bunch of huge partnerships. So we just kind of did this as a soft, start to a much longer roadmap.
That's really neat. Did they do that on ETH?
They did that on ETH. Yep.
Good for them.
Yep.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah. So in your journey and building this, do you think being like a public figure beforehand has helped or hindered you? I know sometimes in the NFT space, like people are looking for like crypto natives and so how's that affected your journey? Do you think it's opened doors?
It's funny, considering the journey hasn't ended and this is still very much the beginning for One of None. It's helped, but it's helped in a weird way. Like, early on, it really hurt us because I was just another one of those athletes, another one of those entertainers that you would expect to have a crazy community that's ready to go, make $5 million out of thin air off of some empty promises.
Right.
So when I show up to a conversation and I start talking to you about authentication and infrastructure and vaulting and physical products, they're like, yo, that's way too complicated. We don't want anything to do with
just do some FaceTime videos with people or something.
Exactly. So it made it difficult for us to kind of get the point across early on. But now as we kind of enter into a bit of a crypto winter, it's been one of our biggest, selling points is that, there's a lot of things that we learned during that last, up cycle. But the main thing that we learned is that we were right all along. And that's that, NFTs and blockchain as an infrastructure is something that's so much more powerful and can solve so many bigger things than just, building some communities. While I love them and I'm with them. And when they're done right, NFTs are amazing. And we see that with the projects that are going to survive this, but I think we would all be lying to each other if we thought that half the stuff that we were doing as collectors, more than half, 80%.
90, 95, 99%. Yeah, it's all nothing.
Right. And, and we knew it was going to be nothing, but there was still 15% of that were like,
and the hits were so good that it was like,
exactly. But us,
you're right. You're right.
We've been looking at blockchain as really an infrastructure. There's things that blockchain does in tech that nothing else could ever rival. Asset portability, being able to take value that you created on one platform and move it over to another platform without asking those two companies to API big databases together to be able to pass on that. That's something that people just can't do. Obviously the metaverse and showing those digital assets in digital worlds, same thing with the asset portability. But that is something where, as this line continues to blur, these are the assets that are going to power that piece of it. And then from there's always just the new expectation that comes from the financial incentives of being able to trade your membership. That's something that, like, while we introduced that in the form of PFPs and creating ourselves identities, that's something that's going to, really transform how you look at any rewards program across everything. And obviously we're seeing it with Starbucks, and there's a lot of things that are starting to roll out in that fashion. I think that those things are here to stay. So as we talk about, where we were as a business and the temptation we had during that upcycle to go out there and kind of fold on what we've been thinking about and just say, screw the vault, let's just go do this, and be the hype beast, on brand, style NFT project. There's a lot of temptation there, and we tried it. We started to put together the Vault Club and try to build that community out. But ultimately, I think that the beauty of the upcycle was that a lot of people learned about the tech, but I think that the real beauty is going to be found right now, and that's the builders who really got really deep in the tech, built these new platforms, these new solutions, and now they're forced in this next 6 to 8 months with a little bit of runway that they were able to build to go make that solve something that's happening right now. We all know that in order for NFTs to win, it takes mass adoption. Well, you don't have mass adoption by pushing people away because they don't understand what Discord is, or they don't understand how to say GM in the morning. We got to be embracing people. How do you embrace people? You go meet them where they're at.
Totally. Yeah. No, I say that a lot. Like, the millions of people are not going to come on to ETH. They're not going to come on and like load up their MetaMask and worry about gas. And like, that's just not how it's going to go down in the space. You mentioned Starbucks. I mean, they're crushing it, what they're doing with the loyalty programs. All the loyalty programs are going to go on the blockchain. It only makes sense. I agree.
I agree.
Really
and
good insight for sure.
Yeah. And then another piece of it is that this is the year of mobile. I think mobile will change everything. As soon as we start going to mobile wallets, as soon as we start going to easier interfaces that don't require us to, sit at the computer, that's already going to bring in a whole new group of people that you'd never have.
Totally.
And then,
we just have to, they have to not worry about getting, like, one of the big things is you can lose everything. Like, people got to be so careful. There was another guy got robbed today. Who did I see? Frankie Nines, the artist from Subducks. He got hit pretty bad. A whole bunch of NFTs, his Goda Mint Pass, and I know, like all kind. I mean, it's been really horrible.
Tough.
What blockchain are you guys on? What do you guys put your NFTs on?
We're on Ethereum, but we really are deep into some conversations with some of the other lightweight chains and looking to make a decision there soon, because we need a fiat on ramp. And we can do it with ETH, but it's just it's a bit complicated. We'd rather
So you have it now, though. You can, on the website, you can buy with credit card or with ETH.
Yes, you can. You can, but that's at the initial sale, and it's a lot easier to do it at the initial sale of the product. Okay. So as we start thinking about what creating secondary exchanges for some of our partners look like, where you can actually exchange it in the secondary right on their platform, that's when you're starting to think, okay, hey, you should probably go to a lighter chain and lower some of those transaction fees.
Right. Because gas has been coming up again the last few weeks.
Hit us last week. We had to go. I think we made like 11 contracts. I'm like, dang, this feels like we're back in the middle of 2022.
Yeah. I know exactly. It was so 6 months. We're so used to it being at like $10. It was so low, and then all of a sudden it's like quadrupled up.
Exactly.
So what's like the most proud thing you've done? What are the projects you like the most? What are you most proud one of none for so far?
I think in this most recent phase, that the Siegelman stable drop that we did was special. One, because it was attached to a dope event. We went out to NFT NYC. The crash is happening, winter's coming, you're feeling the avalanches fall on top of us, and I just felt like we were able to bring a little bit of a little bit of light to the community by throwing a dope, something that didn't feel as Web3, and I say that like I am a DJ, I'm right there in the middle with everyone, but I thought that one thing that we needed coming into this kind of new wave of NFTs is something that felt like things that my teammates would want to pull up to, something that felt like, street, a little, that's something that feels like it's a part of the culture a little bit. So we were able to throw this dope event. We went to Soho. We got a street permit, brought in this artist, Jonas Lewinsky from down in Miami, who's just absolutely incredible. He did a live performance for us. Went inside and had this hybrid gallery event where there was, a bunch of physical art that was up on the walls, but there was a bunch of, digital screens that were showing the NFT. So you can see the direct correlation between the NFT and the physical good. But out of that whole collection, Siegelman, who's now kind of on top of the New York game when it comes to fashion, is really starting to build a really big brand. And we're able to be, one of the first drops that he's ever really gotten up and going. They were hot then, but they're much hotter now. So to say that we're one of those original drops early on was awesome. We sold them out in under an hour. So our first resale transaction at like, I think it was like 0.4 ETH at the time, which that was like 430, 440 bucks. So that was like a real nice proof case for us. And now as that brand, which is, on the rise and nowhere near a big brand yet, but definitely one of the, top up and coming brands, I think that they're going to be one of those key proof cases for us to show, hey, when you get something that's getting ready to get rolling, there's no better way than to start to track that value by launching something hybrid, so that as people look back at those original grailed pieces, you now have an NFT to be the way to track that provenance.
What's the brand again?
It's called Siegelman Stable.
Siegelman State. Okay, got it right here. Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Max Siegelman is a hell of a thinker.
Must be 21 and over to shop this collection.
Sorry, they just announced is that the Blue 42 collection you're looking at?
I guess so. I went to the website.
Oh yeah, so that 21 and over to shop that collection. They're doing a for the Super Bowl. Looks like they're doing a collaboration with Diageo. The brand that owns Johnny Walker, Blue Label, and Don Julio 1942. So they did this collab called Blue 42. Brought him in to do some of the creative on it, do a hat collab and some other merch items with it. So
that's what's up. I gotta check that out. I always like hearing new. One of the things I always ask people, and I will ask you, I ask for like, who's your favorite kind of artist? Do you think should get some light, and what artists are you into? Things like that. I love learning about new artists, and I find so many new ones from this podcast. So that's really cool. I'm definitely gonna check that brand out and see what's up.
You should.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I love what I'm hearing. Like, I didn't realize some of the stuff. I thought it was kind of just what was on the website. You were going to work with some artists and drop some stuff, but like, you guys have some really, really big plans. I like your team. I've met Mike and Pat. Those are good dudes. And Kai, obviously. I don't know, man. I really like your thought process, really, like what you're building, your ideas, your willingness to pivot. You obviously have some good connections, and you're meeting really good people and setting up some cool stuff. I mean, that stuff. Get one of those giant brands on the hook them up. Like that would that'd be awesome.
Right there.
Yeah.
I'll circle back with you.
No doubt.
About 2 weeks, and then we got about 3 or 4 that are sitting on the hook.
That's what's up, man.
Is gonna be a big year for us.
That's so cool. So what is the future? What do you envision? Even like 3-5 years down the line, what do you want to see out of One and None?
Well, yeah, it's funny. Like we've worked so hard on this brand. We've worked so hard on it. We wanted to feel fresh, feel right now. That said, my vision in 3 to 5 years is that nobody knows this brand. That it really starts to move back into, at least the technology we're using starts to move back into the back seat, where we're just powering things that you never expected. I see a world in which, the concept of the metaverse is I think starting to become, more approachable every day. Browser-based metaverses is not Oculus, is not Ready Player One. And I think that, these platforms that are building on top of, the blockchains that exist right now, people like, Instagram that are starting to adopt different chains. I think that there's going to be a revolution of taking the physical grailed items and trying to bring them into these experiences that you can only do online. And I think that One of None will be that launch pad. One of None will be that trusted solution to, luxury goods brands and to brands that focus in on limited edition drops. Will be that technology that allows them to, branch into whatever that metaverse may be. I think that the first step, as you could probably hear in my pitch, is always about the value of that product. Because quite frankly, when you're talking big brands and you're talking corporate, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear a new revenue stream. But I think what we're most excited about is, what you can then do once it's on chain. All these different decentralized apps that are getting built on top of the chain. It's going to, allow for things that otherwise would never have an opportunity to be experienced that way, to get experienced that way, because they were simply, chipped, minted, and then launched alongside a digital counterpart.
That's amazing. I learned a lot today I thought I knew what was going on, but I learned a lot. I love the pivots. I love the willingness to adapt and grow. And I really see big things. Like you're a young guy. I realized today, because we talked about Randall Cunningham earlier. His last year on the Eagles was right around 96. And that was the year you were born.
There you
and
go.
I graduated high school in 97. So yeah. So it made me feel I was like, Jesus, he was born in 96. But that made me feel old. But yeah, no, I grew up. So I grew up with that team, the Buddy Ryan defense, Randall, Reggie White, that was incredible. And we've had some good runs. I guess were you an Eagles fan during like the Andy Reid? You were an Eagles fan forever, I guess, right?
Of course.
No, they were good runs, and now we're
Dawkins, Brian Westbrook.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Devon Kearse. I mean, obviously Donovan McNabb. I always say that Donovan McNabb was my first QB coach, because my dad was a basketball player, knew nothing about about the intricacies of football. So you turn on YouTube and be like, hey, see how Donovan flips his wrist this way? That's how you got to finish. Deal. Got it.
And he had the best QB coach in the league in Andy Reid. So
he did.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool to hear. Do you feel like when you got drafted to Cleveland, it kind of stunted your career a little bit? How do you feel? You want to talk about that at all, or is it like?
Yeah, I'm
that's what I mean. Like, because a lot of it's circumstance. You went to the worst team in the whole league. I mean,
it's circumstance, it's timing, it's there's a lot that plays into success, a lot that not a lot of people spend too much time looking at. They like to look at the top 2%. They like to look at whatever hits the headlines. But I got nothing but great things to say about my teammates.
Sure.
I got nothing but great things to say about the city of Cleveland. They embraced me, they loved me all the way until we got to about 0-10. But up until that point, it was great. But it was a very specific situation in which clearly the organization was turning. They had a GM that was coming in and trying to apply a new style of player personnel, evaluations and things that were similar to like the Moneyball stuff in Oakland. I happened to be a part of that time where they were trying something new out. As I look back at it, if you were in that locker room with us, anybody who was on that team, we obviously went 0-16. Anybody who was on that team, you would never have thought that we were, 0-8, 0-9, 0-14, 0-15. Like we were in, we were ready to win. I was locked in. I came to work every day early, first person in, last person out, ready to rock. But as you look back at it, there are some things that are a little fishy. You start thinking about, cutting Joe Hayden, trading Demario Davis. Obviously, Kenny Britt got cut halfway through the season. There was a lot of things that were like, all right, clearly they were stacking up some chips to do something, and I think that next year they were able to go out after, the GM gets released and I'm out of there by then, but they go and they get to spend it on Jarvis and spend it on OBJ and start to bring some more talent or they draft Baker. So, I was definitely there during a year where I wouldn't say we were rebuilding, but we were definitely, I don't think that the number one mission of that team at that point in time was to win a Super Bowl. And whatever that does, I can't get too upset at that because I only was there for 1 year. I got traded to Green Bay.
Yeah.
And that was a whole nother situation. Mike McCarthy ends up getting canned, during that season. So there's always something, but for me, Michael, it was never about ball. It was about being a professional. It was about changing my family's life. And it was about taking those relationships and those opportunities I was able to pick up and those experiences I was able to pick up and do something bigger. So like, as you mentioned, whether or not that my last days on the field are done, those things are way behind me. I left those things back in quarantine.
Way behind you.
Those cleats are deeper in the garage.
Okay.
I spend my time right here in this Herman Miller on this monitor trying to build businesses.
Cool, man. That's amazing. That's good perspective too. I really like to hear that. And coming from Toledo and going to Notre Dame and starting quarterback there and getting to the NFL, like that stuff is of dreams. Like, that's even just getting there is unbelievable.
100%. But what I like to make sure that anyone who asks me about, do you have any regrets? Do you wish you would have stayed? Do you wish do you still think you should be playing right now? I mean, the percent chances of making to the league are small. I did that. That was awesome. But the percent chances, I'll tell you straight up, my goal was to stack up some real money in the NFL. If I'm going to play this, I went to the University of Notre Dame. I went to, the College of Business there in Mendoza.
Yeah.
The people around me, they right now are making probably anywhere from $450,000 to $600,000 being investment bankers. They probably have graduated or left their investment banks. They're now heading on to PE and VC. They're making real bucks. So like that's where my mind was at. Those are the people I'm competing with, right? So if you want to go and start to make that type of money and have that type of success, you got to make some real money in the NFL to be able to do that, because you only have so much.
You got to get that second contract right now. 100%. It's tough.
100%.
People don't realize that.
So to
People
get
don't realize that.
So to get that big of a contract after being on 4 teams in 4 years,
right?
I think my chances of getting that big contract right now were probably lower than my chances of actually making it into the NFL. So like I'm good, if I could, Do I want to win? Do I want to win a Super Bowl? Absolutely. Like do I want to be in that locker room and have that camaraderie that I had and be with those types of people? Like that was a big part of me, but. I'm in this thing to win forever, and what you can do in business and how you can leverage those relationships that you have in the league. Like this right here was always the dream. What I'm doing right now is always the dream.
That's amazing, man. And you really are so young. You're a baby still. It's I didn't realize that it was so recent that you played and how young you are. I think that's really awesome. I love your perspective, and I love hearing that story and what you say there. It's really cool. It's good to talk a little sports. We don't normally talk too many sports. I usually throw it in. Jennifer's like, oh, here we go. And I start talking about the Eagles. But she's on her little break, so we talk a little sports now.
There we go.
Especially with the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Yeah. We were on with VGF Sunday night, Andy and I, right after the Eagles game. So I was like floating when we did that. That's how I started that one off too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What did you think?
Any predictions for the game? Any predictions for the game?
Yeah, obviously we're playing Patrick Mahomes, who's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He's on pace to do something like that. Travis Kelce is a monster. We got to stop him. Andy Reid's incredible. But I think pretty much everywhere else we have an advantage. If we don't have stupid turnovers, if we're not like fumbling the ball or like the wide receiver, runs and fumbles it, like if we don't turn it over, I really think we can score in the mid to high 30s, maybe low 40s on them. Yep. And our defense is really good. It's going to be a battle there. I think our offense can handle their defense. We have one of the best offensive lines that's like ever been.
Oh yeah. I cannot remember a team this loaded. And there's been some loaded teams lately, but it's like you guys have the perfect storm. You got Jalen Hurts obviously on a rookie contract, so you don't have to pay him.
Right.
He's probably gonna be the MVP this year. So you got the MVP on a salary that most guys are on that salary don't even.
Right. I think he's making like $4 million or something. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing. Yeah, literally nothing.
Right. For
AJ Brown is special. He was my teammate with the Titans. I mean, he's a dog. Devontae Smith is making crazy plays on the outside. You got, tight ends are great. Gobert is great. And then defense is probably there's more stars on defense than there is on offense. And we just sat here pointing at all these stars on offense. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be a battle. Howie Roseman, he's got to be executive of the year for like all the signings he made, trading for Gardner Johnson, everything he did hit. The team really is stacked. Like I said, as long as we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, I think we have the better team. They have the better quarterback. Like they have Mahomes, and that's a wild card. Reed's going to come up with some cool stuff. I like their running back Pacheco. I like that young kid.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, but it looks like Hardman's not going to be able to play.
No,
so they're going to be light at receiver, and it sounds obvious, but if you stop Travis Kelce, you stop Kansas City. But I feel like we've known that for the last 4 years.
Everybody's known it. Yeah, exactly.
And no one ever stops Travis Kelce. Yeah. Somehow he's wide open 3 or 4 times a game. It's like, how do you forget that guy's on the field?
I know. Oh my God, I know. I love that dude. Do you ever see his podcast with him and Jason Kelce?
I haven't seen it. No,
it's good. It's really good. It's called Higher something. You can just look it up, the Kelsey's podcast, and it's
Okay.
becoming very popular. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's really good. They're really good together. I mean, Travis is very likable. Like, it's hard not to like that dude.
Yeah, swaggy dude. He's a Cleveland guy, so I spent some time with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Man. That's
Cool. Like I said earlier, I always give everyone a chance to throw out a couple artists they like. If you have anybody you want to shout out, artists, brands, like if you got some like up and coming brands, like the last like Stableman, like whatever.
Yeah.
Siegelman.
Siegelman.
But anything you want to shout out, like that you want people to learn about and check out.
Yeah, I got a couple.
All right.
Yeah, I'm always ear to the ground on the next hottest thing. My favorite artist out right now is this guy by the name of Terry Urban. He actually has an NFT project that's called Kooks. They did that with Street Lab, which is a platform that's all around street art, and the project actually did really well, which I was really excited about. But he's special. I mean, he's absolutely special. He's actually. You know
what? I heard him on Twitter Spaces not too long ago. I think it was on like Nick and Pio in the morning. But go ahead, keep going.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Okay.
I mean, he's a fine artist. You know, he's a guy who did the digital thing right. He's a guy who's with the culture. He gets it. He's a surfer. Has a studio out on the beach in California, but an unbelievable painter. I mean, just watching him go is awesome. That's one of my favorites that's out there. And then just because it's in that same world, and these guys are actually kind of tight. The guy who runs this brand, from a brand side, it's a little edgy, but there's this brand that's called For Those Who Sin out of LA. We've done some work with them. We did a dirt bike with them actually that they collabed with a company called Bleach Design Works to do a custom dirt bike. But they're the guy who runs that company is a guy by the name of Alex Michael Miller, and it's that same kind of edginess. It gets a little dark at times, but in terms of a creative, in terms of a guy who has kind of found his niche and is building a really cool brand. They have some really cool collaborations, and they're hanging out really in the right crews to be able to really take off a little bit. That brand is off to a great start. Once again, really, really edgy, but really like where they're going there.
I like that. For those who sin.com. I'm on
Yep, you got it. You got it. So that cool. They kind of got that biker, kind of edgy. It's really kind of a biker brand in a way. They like that. But what he's building around it is what I'm most into. Him as a creative is awesome. He's an unbelievable painter. He's an unbelievable designer. But then they have this thing called the For Those Who Sin Ranch. So they took that same brand. They went out to Joshua Tree, and now they have an Airbnb that you can go rent out. So they're kind of building this world around that brand that I think is really cool, really, really, really innovative.
This is cool. A lot of cool stuff. And it's they limited edition stuff. They have 101 custom stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. That's what's up.
Yeah. And then let me see if I can come up with one more for you.
All right.
I think I'm going to put out, let's go with, I think Jonas Sawinski, because this guy is a guy that, as I mentioned, we did something with him in New York. He's from Miami. But
Jonah? Is it
Jonah? Jona. His last name. Yep. Serwinski is his last name, and he is one of the most interesting people I've ever been around. His creative mind is just he's on a different level.
Wow, totally.
And
yeah,
he's done like he's done art on a Cadillac DeVille that Lenny Kravitz has owned. He's done so much stuff that the world doesn't even notice. You have to kind of be in his world to really get his impact. But his ability to show up, find a wall, find a garage door, he's a true street artist. His penmanship is incredible. But he's going to be one of those guys where I've seen his archives of just tons and tons and tons of art. And I've been around it, and we've done some work together. He's become a friend of mine. He's going to be one of those guys that, by the time it's all said and done, we're going to go back and look at him and call him one of the greatest. I mean, it's that good. And he's a musician. He runs in the right crews down in Miami. He's kind of a Miami OG. If anyone's in our game down in Miami, they know all about Jonah. But he's special. And anytime you can kind of capture a moment with him, you got to hold on to it, because you just know there's not going to be too many of them.
That's amazing. I see his stuff. You have any of his pieces?
I do. His newest. He has two pieces that are two kind of topics that he's been on lately. He has this this astronaut that he does a bunch, and that's kind of, he's been tagging a lot of stuff with that. So I got a couple of these mini astronauts of his that are really cool. Then he has this muse that he calls Dahlia, which is this beautiful woman that he goes up and paints, but he sees her, he feels her, and you can see it every time he goes up and does her. So that's kind of like his more, approachable, more kind of, feminine, where you can get that. I can convince my girlfriend to put that up, on the dining room wall. So that's another piece that I have as well.
That's what's up.
Yep.
Cool. Those are good. Those are good recommendations. All three of them.
Yeah.
So that's what's up, man. Anything else before we wrap it up? Anything else you want to throw out there?
No, man. I'm curious. What do you think of the state of the market right now? Where are we at? Big picture. Where are we at right now when it comes to NFTs?
Well, where we're at right now is we obviously went through the gigantic hype cycle, and it slowed down, and valuations came down to normal. And now people are trying to figure out what's next, what's going to hit. The gamers are building the games. The music people are trying to figure it out. And a lot's going to come. We talked about Starbucks. I really like that. Some brands that are going to do it the right way. The blockchain is going to become an integral part of our life. California is testing out putting their card titles now on the blockchain on Tezos. So like it's all going to be coming. The builders are doing it. We have to figure out what's up with crypto. Are these exchanges going to make it to centralized exchanges? I worry about if more of them fall. That's going to be a big problem. Like, what if Binance goes? What if Coinbase all of a sudden is like, we're broke too? I don't know. Like, I hope that stuff doesn't happen. But I firmly believe that blockchain is just going to be a gigantic part of everyday life. We're not even going to know we're interacting with the blockchain because it just makes so much sense. The world's going digital. We need to know where everything is. Right now, it's just all, there's just files, but like when it's on the blockchain, it's all going to be trackable, and it's going to be good for business. They want to track everybody. Like all these Polygon wallets that are holding Starbucks NFTs, if you have another coffee shop, you can airdrop them, come to my place for half off coffee next week, just all on the blockchain. Like businesses are going to love it, and the use cases are going to go crazy. There will be a game that just blows it out of the water. I don't know what game that's going to be. Hopefully it's the other side for my bags. But we'll see. We'll see. There will be a game that all of a sudden everybody needs to play, and it's going to be NFTs, and kids are going to be collecting the skins. And instead of Fortnite, where my son wants me to buy him a Spider-Man skin that he can't do anything with, now he'll be able to sell it later on.
There you go. Yeah. I love it.
So
I love it.
Yeah. So that's where I think we're headed. That's where I think, where we're at right now is the figuring it out. We're still really early as compared to what it's actually going to be. And then there's the whole AI thing that's going to be taken over. Like that's wild too.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole.
I usually ask people about AI too. We didn't even get into that.
I mean, that's a whole new world. There's
it is.
I mean, we can write some books on the state of AI right now.
Yeah, I know. I love it. You can't stop progress, so you might as well embrace it.
Exactly.
I write emails with ChatGPT all the time. Like I literally will like write an email to this person about this, make sure to include blah, blah, blah. And it like writes this perfect email, and I can just change it up a little bit. Like it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. And as that technology continues to go over the video, that's when things are really going to start getting weird. When right now, I think like the only thing that you're right. The video can trust. Is we've got used to Photoshop. You can Photoshop something. So when you talk about AI and photo, that's okay. Words are, sure, we've all plagiarized before, but when you start putting video and you add that layer of AI into it, that's like the only thing that you can see is real right now. Is that if I don't see it glitching, then it must be real. But,
and they already have it. We just don't have it yet. That already exists.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to get so crazy. We're going to be able to tell it to create whatever you want. I've said this before, but you're going to be able to say, make me a movie with The Rock and Meg Ryan doing this and this and go in there and have it be an hour long and, make it really funny. And it'll make you a movie of whatever you ask for.
Weird.
It's really weird. It's really weird. The AI is going to get all the stuff we consume, like brands are going to be sending you messages directly for you, like, "Hey, DeShone, what's up, dude?" Like, and it'll be like Randall Cunningham talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to get so crazy. Yeah.
Nuts,
but it'll be fun.
Nuts,
It'll be fun. Yeah. Cool, man. So, well, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on. And hopefully it won't be the last time. And I'm going to keep my eye on what you guys are doing. I appreciated that first merch you sent me, the original. I have I think it's like number 67 out of 100 on the hoodie. It's sick. I see you have number 1 in the images. It's badass. That might be worth a pretty penny one day.
Yeah, exactly. I think your 67 will be too.
Yeah, I know. Awesome, brother.
Yeah,
well,
thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Appreciate it. Hopefully you'll see you soon. Maybe one of the conferences this year. Yeah. But best of luck with everything. Seriously mean it. And I'll definitely be watching. And if you ever need anything, let me know.
We'll do. Same here.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, bro. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This was a lot of fun. We will see you on the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_Pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.